with the brood, taking it in. They've got their Christmas card done right there.
You know, we saw that picture of the coach Scaloni crying, and you know, this is a guy that played with Messi, that understood Messi, that set Messi up, and ultimately, I think those tears were for the burden being lifted from him and these players.
Sense now, I think, setting in with Messi of joy, but it did feel like relief. Finally, nobody can ever understand the amount of pressure he felt for his country.
That's a nice little thing to say, yeah, but that's not on the table anymore about not winning the World Cup. I did the exact same thing, ultimately, that Diego Maradona did. We can go back and forth about who you like more, but if you're talking about ultimately you have to win a World Cup, this man has had his moment. And so that debate and that conversation, that evergreen conversation that we have about who the GOAT is, and yes, Rob Stone, there should only be one GOAT when it comes to it. There's a lot of people that look at that guy right there. Maybe even before the game, they didn't need it. But after the game, they have it in their pocket to play, and that is a trump card.
So you know what he did today, Lex, that we haven't seen in the tournament is what we just showed in the highlight is some of that defending and that dirty work. And you knew how much it meant to him. His demeanor throughout the tournament, the way he was with opponents and coaches, and he had a little nasty edge to him. You could tell how much it meant to him. But I will just say, first, I love that he scored with his right foot because you very rarely see him do that. He's a special player. When we for us, you're older, Lex. You saw it live probably. But for us, when we were young, we used to put a VHS tape in and we would watch Maradona play. And it looked like he was playing athletically and psychologically so much faster than everyone else. And when you watch the highlights of Messi, and this is against elite athletes today, he's doing the same thing. He's doing the same thing. He's playing at a whole different speed than everyone else.
But what is so impressive is at 35, doing that with the speed of everybody. And he did it throughout the whole tournament, all the minutes that he played.
Yep.
And what an impact he made, especially when it mattered the most in the knockout games. I mean, he carried this team on his back. He did have the supporting cast that we talked about in terms of Alvarez, Martinez, Di Maria, talk about Enzo Fernandez, what a tournament that he had, and others. But, man, what a special player.
He's an idol even among stars. I mean, we saw Netti come up and get a selfie there with him there. We've seen Aguero, all these players that are in their own right incredible legends of the game. But this guy's at a whole nother level, and I think they recognize that they are among and they are in the midst of seeing something special that is going to be talked about for decades and decades, if not centuries to come, in terms of how impactful he is. And sometimes we take it for granted. I don't think anybody, especially in this moment on this field, they don't want it to end. And not taking it for granted, not just winning, but winning with this special person.
I want to share one of the most special moments of my career was, as the soccer gods would have it, my 100th cap came against a friendly in New York against Argentina, and Messi was the captain. And he didn't, leading up to the game, he didn't really want to be there. And I think it was one of those things where it was like he had to play at least 45 minutes. It was set up that way. And he went on the field. Everyone knew he didn't want to be there. We all knew he didn't. And for 45 minutes, I was literally on the field in awe of him. There was one play, Lex. He got the ball near midfield, and about four of us tried to foul him to slow him down, and he just bounced off. We couldn't drag the guy down. He just was so special, and I never played against a player like that. There's nobody like him ever. At least I played against, and I think most people would say the same.
And he's a very different type of human being. And he's not the big, bold, arrogant, in the best possible way, I don't say that as a pejorative, that Zlatan is or Cristiano is. And that sometimes works against him, but there are different forms to gods, you know? And this, from a soccer perspective, is a soccer god, and he will continue to be for, like I said, many, many years from now. And again, not that he needed this, but you can see him being unburdened. And at times it was an albatross around his neck. And this moment that he gets to share with his family and his friends and his teammates is also just to be able to exhale and say, I have done that. And he would have been legendary even without it, but it's a whole nother level when you're talking about how important he is and what a wonderful player he is.
What does an albatross around your neck mean?
It means it's a burden. It means it's a burden that you carry with you.
I've never heard
And ultimately, you want to get that off. And it doesn't always come off. It doesn't always come off.
He wants to know what an albatross
It's a weight. It's a weight. I thought it was a bird. It's a bird. No, but the bird is the weight that you're carrying around.
Hey, you learn something new every day, man.
There we
Appreciate
go, my friend.
that.
Aren't there heavier birds than an albatross? Or is an albatross big?
You can't shoot it, Clint. So, I mean, okay.
This Messi cam is amazing. I mean, it is human after human coming over to essentially kiss the ring, get a picture, get a hug with one of, if not the greatest athlete we've ever seen. Good luck being the usher that has to steer him away and off the floor of that stadium.
You think this is it?
I think this is it for his national team. To me, it feels like this is a perfect place to say goodbye and thank you. I don't know.
What if they hadn't won in penalties? What if they had lost to France today?
I think if they had lost, I mean, you guys can chime in. I think if they had lost, he would mull it. Let's think about it.
Yeah. Well, you think if he plays in MLS for the next 3 years, there's a World Cup in the States.
Right there.
They come asking, you think he's going to say no?
I mean, he's kept his body. I mean, to your point, Landon, part of what makes him incredible is his ability to ride off tackles, and he's kept himself healthy. Yes, he's had some injuries, but not major ones. And, who knows? But to be able to kind of say that this is done, maybe this makes the decision for him.
4 Champions League titles, Clint.